It's time for Tupelo Tom and Big Lew talking. And now, here's Tupelo Tom and Big Lew.
I'm Tupelo Tom.
And I'm Big Lew.
And we're talking. Again.
Remember
finally.
when we first started doing this, our timing was off, and then we finally figured out, Alex finally figured out, because you and I would never have figured it out, what the problems were, and it'd be like, I'm Big Lew and Tupelo and Tom, and
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
and all that. We finally got it down to literal perfection-ish.
And I think the reason it was is because Alex is in Myrtle Beach, and I'm in Tupelo, and I'm closer, and you're in Oklahoma, so it takes a while for your voice to get to me to then get to Myrtle. Mine's already in Myrtle Beach when yours is just getting to me.
Well, I got the Mississippi in between us, so I'm
Exactly.
yeah, you know,
Exactly.
So
And you're either going over in Alton or you're going to Memphis, one way or the other.
and we're back.
We are
What's
back.
that-
Hi,
what is that
everybody.
from?
Nice to see the listeners back there. We took a little bit of a break, but if you're new to the podcast, you've been listening, and you have no idea that, you know, it's kind of like, we're kind of like Larry David. He did like 3 or 4 seasons in a row, and then he missed like 2 years, and then he came back as if nothing had happened. And so my broadcasting career told me never apologize, because most people are going to not even understand what you're talking about. So here we are again, everybody. It's great to be
And for
back.
those of you that don't know, Larry David, the writer of Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm, watch it now.
That's true.
Brilliant.
Well, as soon as this podcast is over.
Yeah, exactly what you're done with us.
Yeah, because Larry's a little bit smarter than we are. So, you know, Lisa and I have been going back, and we're watching, they have all the Seinfelds on Netflix. And we started, she never really watched Seinfeld, and she couldn't understand why I was so obsessed with it. And she started watching it with me. We watched the last season, and she said, oh my gosh, these people are all selfish and self-centered and don't care about anyone else. No wonder you love this show so much. And I'm like, exactly.
Yeah.
And then we started over because now she's, you know, she's got to catch up. And in the first season of Seinfeld is only like 5 episodes because it was a summer replacement, and it failed horribly. I mean, it was terrible ratings wise. And then they put like the next season, which was kind of the first season, but it's called 2. They put it behind Cheers, and then it took off. But in the first few episodes, Kramer's kind of a jerk and kind of evil and mean and vindictive, and they haven't found the characters yet. It's very interesting. And it's
Cheers
also interesting.
failed first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Cheers held up Seinfeld, and Seinfeld. What's interesting is, and I'm doing this with a lot of stuff, I'm going back, I never got to see Mad Men, so I'm watching that now, which is on HBO.
Yeah.
And to watch a show, and then as the show's ending, that little thing comes up at the bottom and it says, next episode in 15 seconds. And you and it go, hit it. And then it goes, skip it. And you're right into the next thing. And I just look at that and I think, you know, they had to go home and somebody had to write this, and they had to have dinner for about a week, and they rehearsed, and then they shot, and then they put it back together, and then somebody edited it. And I'm just watching them 10 seconds apart. And it all meshes together. I sometimes come out of 4 or 5 episodes of Mad Men, and I don't really remember what happened.
Well, there's 2 films that failed at first, too, in the box office, Office Space and Shawshank Redemption, that went on to be cult favorites, and I think even Big Lebowski was that way. But you talk about, I'm a huge, by the way, folks, this is an Elvis-themed podcast that we'll get to, but we do have to finish the hardest. It's about everything.
You know, I tend to think that Elvis fans have more than one interest.
I would hope so.
You know,
So
I would
I'm a
hope they do.
a ridiculous fanatic of the show Lost. And I've watched it, I can't tell you how many times, an insane amount. And I just watched it again with my mom. And we just watched, 4 or 5 episodes at a time. And as you watch it, I think to myself, I just have to wait a week and then maybe a year before I could see what happened when they went back to the island and all that. Not to spoil anything. Yeah. But okay, so there's our pop culture.
And really quickly, the other thing is, when you are waiting in real life, like I was for Netflix, for Stranger Things on Netflix, they were so long between seasons, I didn't even remember what had happened.
Yeah.
I had to find some website somewhere that was like, can I have a 5-minute synopsis of what I'm catching up on? Because I've watched every episode, but you know, it's been 5 years or whatever. These kids are 6'4" now.
Right.
You know? Anyway, so speaking of movies and things to watch multiple times. There is one out there that just hit the theaters in IMAX, and I have a feeling that Elvis fans are going to be watching it quite a bit, and it's called Epic, Elvis Presley in concert. And my first thought, boys, Alex, Mitchell, and Jeff Lewis, is why didn't we come up with Epic?
I know.
Elvis Presley in concert has been right in front of us for 50 years, at least for me. Why didn't somebody come up with EPIC, Epic? Why didn't we do that? We wrote it down a million times. I came up with, I know EOT. I know TWII. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
I know Elvis on tour, but I didn't come up with Epic. So Baz, just coming up with that was a genius move.
Yeah. And it was, I read on Facebook, and we see this all the time, where somebody will have an opinion about it who hasn't seen it.
Mm-hmm. It saves time.
Said,
it saves time.
Yes. Somebody said, well, I've already seen That's the Way It Is in Elvis on Tour, so I don't need to see it. Well, that may have been the dumbest comment I've ever seen on Facebook, and that's saying a lot. It was so, right, let them theory. Tom just showed it to me. The movie, and let's all give our opinions on it. Alex, you as well. I'll kick it off since I'm talking. It was...
He's Big Lew, and he's talking.
That's right. It was emotional. A few things that stood out. We're in the Elvis tribute artist world. And that may have been the first time in a while I just saw a couple of hours solid of Elvis.
Yeah.
And you just went, oh my God, that's right. He's the single most talented entertainer ever. And his voice, his humor. I forgot how serious he was on stage. He still joked around, but man, his intensity wasn't. I hadn't forgot about it, of course, but singing in an IMAX theater, I was blown away. Another thing that struck me, besides the great music, is work ethic. That's another thing that struck me, was his work ethic. How, this is horrible of me to say, how hot the girls were back then. and you forget, oh yeah, that's why Elvis was Elvis. That's why they were all there. But also, we know, Tom, Alex, you met a lot of them. Tom knows them better than we do, but I was been fortunate enough to get to know a lot of them. How many people were in the film with Elvis that we've gotten to know over the years that have passed? Dick Grove, that was so cool seeing him so much. Sam, DJ, Joe Mascao, the Red,
Sonny,
yeah, the list goes on, and all the gospel guys that were on there that because of you, Tom, I've had the fortune to sing with in Nashville, and that was amazing. And so that was it. I just was, and it was cool. I don't know if this happened when y'all watched it, but to hear people sing along, and when he would do certain moves, they were reacting in the theater like it was live in Vegas. And then at the end, everybody stood up and cheered. And folks, it's 2026. So that struck me, and I was just amazed by it. Go see it. We'll be watching it a lot. It isn't just That's the Way It Is, and it isn't just Elvis on tour. And of course, Baz, as he did with the original Elvis movie, did an amazing editing, directing job of putting this story together, and the way he did it, and using Elvis's voice as a narration. I just loved it.
Yeah. Alex?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it was...
Next up?
It absolutely blew me away. The quality of it was just amazing. I've never seen anything, and no matter how many times Elvis on tour or That's the Way It Is has been remastered, I've never seen anything of that quality. So that was amazing to me to see. And I saw it in IMAX, thankfully. But the sound quality as well, and the way they mixed all this, and you can hear the backup singers, and you can hear everybody in the band along with Elvis. And like Jeff said, I loved getting to see. I've seen videos of Elvis being funny backstage, but I feel like I got to see a new side of Elvis it was just absolutely amazing. I thought it humanized him in such a like a new profound way,
an inspiring way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he seemed happy and loved what he was doing. Did you get? And this is embarrassing to say as a man, but I caught myself with tears
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I was sitting there looking around going, oh, my God, people can't. Everybody's going to be looking at me, what's wrong with that idiot? But they don't get how entrenched we are. And you would hear people in the audience talk about, well, we saw him that year and remember, and they were singing along. It was just amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And to me, like the new camera angles that they had, that's the way it is. There's one where it's almost like they're right in front of the stage looking up at Elvis. And when they cut to that, I got like goosebumps on my arm because I was like, that is so cool. It is so cool. Like you said, we're in 2026 and we've all gone and seen something new about Elvis that we haven't seen before. And there's plenty that we have, but.
Yeah, I found myself, Jeff, with those tears, and I'm so proud of him.
Yeah.
I think that's it for me. I'm so proud that
it's a great way of putting it.
I so love that there's so many young people with podcasts and seeing Elvis, and they understand, like, this is my guy.
Yeah.
And I'm just so proud of him. We didn't forget, E. We didn't forget.
Yeah. And he did all this, and he wasn't impersonating anybody. He wasn't, like he said in that great, we all love hearing his accent and everything. He talks about how really what he does is rhythm and blues and gospel and country music and a mix of all that. It wasn't one type of music he took or this type. He just combined, like you listen to That's All Right, Mama, and there's never been anything that has sounded like it since. And how fun was it to watch Ronnie Tutt? It's so many great angles. And I'll say this. I'm not too proud to say this. I'm secure enough to say this. Was Elvis any kind of good looking? Good Lord have mercy.
Well, he didn't look like, looking around when he's, there's not another human around him, man or woman, that looks like, it's just like, there's good looking guys out there in that era in the theater as he walks around. They don't look like him. It's I don't know. It's the difference in everybody in the world was an extra in a movie that Elvis was the star of.
Yeah.
Because as an extra, you're just background. You're just, you're just a body. You're there. And then there's the star, Tyrone Power or Errol Flynn. Well, that was Elvis. He was the star and no one looked as good as him. And it was just inhuman, And Alex, you were telling me so my story is I saw the movie January the 8th at the Birthplace in the Guest House Theater. Which earlier that day I had conversations on stage during birthday, and I had interviewed Jonathan Redmond, who was the editor that worked with Baz. He also edited the Elvis movie with Austin Butler. And before I did that interview, they asked me if I wanted to see Epic, and I said no, I don't. And they were like, "You don't want to see it?" And I go, "I want to see it. Yeah, I want to see it in the theater after I interview him, but I will be unable on stage to interview him and not give anything away if I've already seen it." It's better for me as an interviewer to ask you questions that the audience knows, listen, I may be spoiling something, but it's up to him to answer it in such a way that it doesn't spoil it, because I don't know what I'm spoiling. I haven't seen it yet. And there were a couple of things he said. There's a moment in the film, he said there were 3 performances of a song. They couldn't decide which was the best one, so they just used them all.
That was great.
And don't tell what it is, But the other thing, when I came out of the screen, well, first of all, it was in that Guest House Theater, and I was at the 5 o'clock screening. And sitting to my right was my friend Pat West, who was Red West's widow. Sitting directly in front of me, my knees on the back of the chair of Jerry Sheff sitting in front of me. And sitting directly behind me with his knees in my back of the chair was Jerry Schilling.
Oh, my goodness.
And the first time Jerry came on screen, he leaned down, he goes, "That's Jerry Schilling right there. That's Jerry." And he did it a couple more. He would kick the back of my chair going, "That's Jerry Schilling right there." And then, to hear Pat, when Red would come up on the screen. But so the first 10 minutes, I was just overwhelmed. There was just a wash of emotion and visual information that was, I imagine what it was like the first time somebody broke through the trees and looked out and said, "Wow, that looks like a Grand Canyon." They have no idea what they're going to be seeing, and they push through the trees, and there's the Grand Canyon.
Wow.
At sunset, because it's just too much information. And I realized about 10 minutes into this movie, you know what? I just got to find Elvis. I can't look at all this other stuff. I just got to find him. I just got to look at him. I'll go back later and see who was in the room with him, or what he was doing, or what he was wearing, or where he was, or what he was singing. I'm just going to find him. And except for the moments that Red's hair would flash by, because his hair was just on fire red, I pretty much had to just focus on Elvis. And I've only seen it once, and I'm going to go back a lot of times to see it. But that first time, it was just too much information. It was so emotional, and to be at Graceland to do that, that's where I saw. I'm in the theater where I saw the Elvis movie with Austin Butler, that Baz and Priscilla and Jerry were there to and Lisa were there to introduce. So my two premieres of those movies were in that little theater at the hotel. And Alex,
and how about?
I'm sorry, Alex said that you took my advice when you saw the movie.
Tom gave me some great advice to just watch Elvis because there's so much going on screen, and the screen is huge. So just watch Elvis because you're going to miss something. And just like Jeff said earlier, there's people that we know and we have met on screen as well. Mm-hmm. So I got lost a few times, like watching Estelle or like the Imperials and stuff like that. But it's important. If first time seeing it, just watch Elvis because you're going to want to see it again. So see it once to watch Elvis, and then see it again to just watch everything else and get all the details and all that.
I knew JD real well, and it was emotional to see him again so many times. And of course, Tom and I were very close to Joe Moscheo, and it was just, and how about, did it strike you guys, even though we know this already, again, his talent, his voice, my goodness, he can actually sing. Great, phenomenal there. But the incredible insanity of the fans as he's leaving venues, and they kept showing different shows, he was having to be spread him out. And you always think of Dick and Sam as, and Red and Sonny. Yeah, there's security and all that stuff. No, they were real security.
Yeah.
They were keeping him from getting absolutely ripped to pieces. And he just, the mania of the reaction when he would walk out, they'd show the close-up of some of these fans, and you realize, it's just women just shivering. Yeah. I get that a lot, of course, when I go into the restaurants, but, it was good to see in IMAX.
There's one particular shot in the movie that I wanted to bring up, and so I issue a spoiler alert to anyone listening to this that does not want to hear this spoiler. The movie's been out for a little bit. It's not like I'm giving away Wizard of Oz or anything. You've had 75, 80 years to figure that one out. So, but for the next, let's call it 2 minutes, I just want to talk about this. I'm going to put a timer on this, okay? I'm going to get the timer. I don't want to spoil anybody's viewing of the movie, but I want to be able to talk about this one shot. Okay? You ready?
Yeah.
From this moment on, 2 minutes later, come back. Did you see the shot of Elvis tapping his foot on stage in Vegas, and he's wearing like a loafer?
Yes.
It's a loafer. It's a shoe. And I talked to Loretta Harper, who was an archivist and costume archivist restoration person. She is the daughter of Betty Harper, and Loretta works with all these country artists and like Reba and stuff as their wardrobe person. She does a lot of restoration of the jumpsuits and everything, and she was freaking out. We were just kind of, did you see the shoe? And we were like, yeah, the shoe. It's just like a white. And my story is, in my mind, he's upstairs at the hotel and they can't find his boots, and he's like, just give me some shoes. I'm going to go out on stage and just wear shoes because I'm Elvis. Who's looking at my feet? But did you see the shot? It's like 2 seconds long.
Yeah.
It took me a while for that. Was that a shoe?
And the tapping, the way his rhythm of tapping, that front and back.
He's sitting on the stool, playing guitar, and he's tapping his foot, and it's in a shoe. So unbelievable.
And it had like this weird, like tied leather piece on the top.
Yeah. Yeah. We got to find out. Angie's going to do some archiving digging, and we're going to find out the story of the shoe. Hey, we have 50 more seconds. We can talk about something we can give away if you want to mention anything.
All right. I want to give something away. By the way, anybody sane that's listening to this, that's not an Elvis fanatic, it's kind of like, I'm in a lost Facebook group and we argue over details of love, are sitting there going, are these people out of their mind? They looked at his shoe. But I love the line that Baz said, Elvis made America, then America made Elvis.
Oh, yeah.
Before America made Elvis, I mean. So just stuff like that. And you could really tell Baz's passion in the poem he wrote at the end. And it was just...
Okay, now we're coming out of the spoiler. We're coming out of the spoiler.
I won't say anything else.
No more about that. In 3, 2, One. And yeah, when
Now,
when the UFO came down and abducted Elvis.
Yeah.
Okay, time's up.
And we found out Elvis was actually dead his entire life.
Yeah, he never.
Well, that's 6 years.
Never was here. Okay, it was all AI. So again, imagine this: if Baz's movie Elvis with Austin Butler found so many new younger people to become fans of Elvis, imagine what this movie's going to do.
Yeah.
Because it's the man. I mean, it's and I think there's, many doors to Elvis. In the 60s, it was, a door for me was the movies, going to the movie theater and seeing the movies. And as I've always said, maybe they weren't the best use of his talent in the 60s, but there's certainly a doorway that a lot of us walked through. Albums, records, radio, streaming, so many ways to find Elvis's music and him and just become interested. And like I always say, I envy the young people who are going to be discovering this. Man, they've got so much cool stuff to discover. And the other part, Jeff, I thought of, and Alex, you'll be interested in this. I thought, boy, these ETAs got a lot of new versions of songs to learn.
I was thinking the same thing. Like, all right, now I know who's going to be doing that. And I want to compliment. There's a bunch of great. Obviously, Alex is a great ETA. Cody, Dale Nath, there's several phenomenal ETAs. But I was talking to a friend of mine who had seen it and is involved in our festivals. And she brought up a great point. She goes, there were times I saw Bill Cherry. There were times I saw Jimmy Holmes, and that I'm just pointing those two particular ones out, even though there's so many guys that pay such an incredible tribute to Elvis. But yeah, and just Elvis sitting there with the electric guitar in Vegas.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever seen that, and how cool that was, But again, I just go back because I'm a Nashville, guy. I just go back to that daggone voice. My goodness, what a singer.
And as Alex said, the mix of bringing a lot of the instrumentation forward, Jerry Sheff's bass and Ronnie Tutt's drums and JB's guitar and the voices of the Sweets and the Imperials and the Stamps and the chroma in, and that's a technical term, the color saturation.
Yeah.
Like I said, Red's hair was electric red. They just made it. It's kind of like on your phone if you go in to look at your photos and you can do stuff with sometimes you make your picture really, 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 really colorful. That's what this movie is. It's just like almost cartoon-like. I'll tell you what it reminded me of. It reminded me of seeing those Elvis movies in the 60s. Because those 60s movies like Clam Bake and Girls, Girls, Girls and my favorite Girl Happy, they were so saturated in color. Elvis wore a red jacket and the love interest wore a blue dress and the background was green and the guy was in a yellow jacket over here. Everything was just, there was no shades. It was just, everything was primary colors.
And this isn't giving anything away. I was very fortunate a few years ago to MC and host a contest and festival at the Westgate in Vegas. So my dressing room, my little area was backstage. And so I spent 4 days and several hours. I would get there an hour early, got to know everybody that worked there. One of my best friends from college was the union leader of their union there. I mean, so it was phenomenal. But we all know the famous, just cool walk of Elvis coming back from or behind stage during That's the Way It Is. I love how Baz found the footage and extended that. Where he walked from the elevator. You could see him getting on the elevator with the same carpet that's still in that elevator, by the way.
Yeah.
But you could see him get out and walk from behind the stage and circle around. And we had never seen that little few seconds. And him talking to people back there and joking around. And then, of course, the story about the ending of, that'd be giving something more.
Yeah. The other part, and this, Jonathan Redmond talked about this, and Jerry Schilling talked about it because Jerry was my guest on Conversations before Jonathan, and Jerry had been an editor on Elvis on Tour, so he knows that footage really well. There were a lot of things in Epic, and I don't believe this is giving it away either, that are moments you remember from Elvis on Tour, but it's from a different angle. It's from a different camera.
Yeah,
I said with
a different mix.
It's a different mix, but it's the equivalent of if after all these years We know the Abraham Zapruder film from the Kennedy assassination. Imagine if Bob Smith had been across the street with his camera, and all of a sudden today, after all this time, we're like, oh, here's Bob Smith footage. It's the same thing, but it's a whole different angle.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it's a whole different thing. It's a whole different experience. And that's all this stuff is made new again. He found a story in there. You know, I worked on the remix of That's the Way It Is, the restoration or the recut in 2000, and we found a lot of that footage. It was in the archives. We didn't know the stuff in the salt mines existed in 2000.
Yeah.
Not that we would have been able to do anything with it, because Baz had the, you know, the advantage of having a successful movie for Warner Brothers. They said, would you like to do anything else? But I've got a treatment here somewhere. I've got a document that I went through, and we had the audio recording of Elvis telling his story, and I wrote a treatment for a 1-hour documentary called Elvis in His Own Words, and it was just his narration. It was going to be a straight documentary, but there are going to be no other talking people in it, just Elvis.
I don't think this is giving anything away either, but I think it's more of a selling point to people that are going, I've already seen Elvis. Trust me, you haven't seen this, but it's Elvis telling the story the whole time.
Yeah.
And how about all the cool close-ups of his godlike face? I mean, my God, you know, and I'm in the theater, and it was full, by the way.
That's great.
It was a full theater. And they had some real close-ups of Elvis's face. And you could hear women going, whoo. I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh. You know, it was just, he really captured the charisma and the magic of Elvis. Baz, I don't know if you'll ever hear us at all, but thank you so much.
Yes.
I'm glad I got to tell him that in Memphis that one time. So that was cool.
And I would say to the naysayers that, you know, be that way. You're denying yourself something incredible. Maybe give it a chance. And you know, as we always say, the way to guarantee a new Elvis project is to make the current Elvis project successful for the people that invested the money. Because if it bombs and you get your way and you say, you know, poo on that, okay, great, you win, and guess what? You'll never get another present like this. Thank goodness Baz loves Elvis and has hinted and actually admitted, I think he wasn't supposed to say this, that they're working on a Broadway musical.
Oh my gosh.
So that'll be, you know, coming in the future. And when you look at what's on Broadway right now, it's all jukebox shows. It's all
Neil Diamond.
It's Neil Diamond and Michael Jackson and doo-wop and you know, just there's been a Motown thing. So there's very few original thing, or it's a musical based on a movie like Death Becomes Her, which is not a musical, or Back to the Future or whatever. So yeah, why not an Elvis musical on Broadway?
Yep.
And I would say also to the people that if you have not seen the movie and you get upset if we talk about things that might be spoiling it, I would say stop reading anything about it, stop listening to anything about it, and just go see it.
Just go see it.
Because don't tempt yourself. I'm just going to read a little bit of this.
Yeah.
Oh, I just found out who the murderer was in this mystery movie. Well, you shouldn't have been. You shouldn't have been teasing yourself. Because a lot of times people say, you know, spoiler alert, and they say it the next thing, and your eyes can't get off of it fast enough. Spoiler alert: the killer is Bob. Well, I didn't have a chance to tear my eyes away, and now I know the killer is Bob.
I went to Infinity War and Endgame, and I never do this, the day they came out with the Avengers, Marvel, because I just didn't want to hear anything about it. You know, I just wanted to see it. But you know, you're going to see familiar things. And actually the stuff you've already seen, which isn't a lot of the movie at all, that actually adds to the fun of the film. Because you've already seen it, but it sounds different. It looks different,
just
you know.
New. Well, so in the end, I would give this a definite thumbs up. And the reaction from the critics, 2 thumbs up from
that'd be 6 if we count all 3 of them.
All thumbs.
Yeah.
I think it's 99% on Rotten Tomatoes from the audience and 96% positive from the critics.
That's incredible.
That's pretty good.
Incredible.
And remember, there's a Oscar category for the type of movie this is. So we'll just say that for next year, because it's too late to qualify for this year. So we recommend Epic in theaters. And I thought about you gentlemen in right after Elvis' birthday in January. Myself and you were all heading to Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle Beach to the North Myrtle Beach Elvis Festival. And much like myself, when I attend the Tupelo Elvis Festival, which is 2 blocks from here, Alex, a little bit better off than a lot of people in going to North Myrtle Beach since you're pretty close right there. And I wasn't able to make it because we had ice storms the weekend prior to me leaving, and we had a little bit of issues in the basement and trees down in the area and things like that. And then also I had seen that, well, I've got to drive through Atlanta to Myrtle Beach, and it looks like when I get there, I might not be able to leave till the middle of the following week. Yep. And so you guys encountered, but what I loved was the shows carried on. You guys just, and the fans said, yeah, we're staying. We're doing it.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Saturday was the day they kept saying, and there's Alex, you may know his name, I don't, but there's a famous weatherman there in North Myrtle.
That'd be Ed Piotrowski.
That's it.
Our claim to fame here. No, he's great. There's actually a slogan about that's what Ed said, because everybody believes what Ed says on WPDE. Yeah.
And of course, here in Oklahoma, we have several, Mike Morgan and we had Gary England forever. Of course, we're Tornado Alley, so we have plenty of that. But so we kept hearing this thing was coming. And so Cody and Alex had to make a decision. Cody Downath and Alex Mitchell they're the ones that run the festival. And the theater had to be involved in this. By the way, that theater is amazing. Tell them the name of it, Alex.
That would be also our presenting sponsor of the North Myrtle Beach Elvis Festival, Greg Roll's Legacy Theater.
Yes. I tell you, I cannot say enough about the people that run that theater. The work ethic of the people that work there, the work ethic of the people that run it. There was a genuine passion that they had about just coming to work. They loved the Elvis Festival. They talk about how it's their favorite thing, kind of like with Helen, Georgia, and Unicoi, the staff there. But I told the managers, I said, I've never seen people so excited about coming in and working the concession stand and working the theater. They'd have a group prayer before every event. I mean, they were just amazing. So they had to make a decision. Do we do shows at all on Saturday, or do we just cancel Saturday? And there was, feedback both ways. If we'd have canceled it, people would have complained. The fact that they didn't, people complained. But they just went on. We moved all the shows up, and people.
Yeah, that 10 a.m. show came awful early, didn't it?
Oh my Lord!
It was the 7:30 p.m. show got moved to 10 a.m. so we could do the 2 o'clock show at the normal time. Yeah.
But the entertainers brought it. The fans were still great. But it was just North Myrtle Beach Elvis Festival is one of my favorite festivals. Again, they got a barber's chair in the back, which I'm dying to get one of these days. But it was just a lot of fun. We all got to hang out a lot. The place is beautiful. And sure enough, what time was it, Alex? About 6 or 7 o'clock. In came the snow.
On Saturday, yeah. It was like we got loaded out of the festival. Everything was in the trailer. And then we headed back to the hotel, and we extended rooms because we knew we were going to be there. And it was 6, 7 o'clock. It just started coming down.
Yeah, and it was actually fun. I wish we had that issue. I wish we had the budget that we could all stay an extra day and night, because it was so much fun hanging out in that hotel bar together and getting to just visit and talk and we all had dinner together. And Sunday, Keith, the guy who runs our production, we went and had a cigar at a cigar bar there in North Myrtle Beach. Just had met some great. Yeah, I know it. By the way, just for the fans there, we have because it's TCB, and if you're an Elvis fan, obviously taking care of business in a flash. We found out 4 or 5, 6 of us smoke cigars in our little Elvis world, and so we got a group called TCB, the Cigar Boys. We got hats with the lightning bolt, the cigars.
We got hats.
So we got hats.
We're TCB for taking care of burning.
That's right.
That's right. Take care of burning. That's right.
Yeah.
And
or
so
the Cigar Boys,
Yeah, and we got to talking with some people there at the cigar bar. It's a very social thing. And somebody goes, yeah, we saw this guy in Branson. He was great. And she showed me the picture. There's Dean Z, and they had all heard about the festival. They go, well, we're going to go next year for sure. So we'll have 5 new clients if there's room, because my goodness, dang near sold out every single show.
It was amazing. I love that.
And
you should be proud, Alex. You should be
Thank you,
proud.
brother.
What I found out about that theater last year that I saved until we did our gospel show, that was the last theater that J.D. Sumner performed in.
Yep.
J.D. passed
Absolutely.
in November of 1998, and his last performance ever was in that building. So,
and we know somebody that was there. My dear friend, who I went and saw the Masters with in 2016, and makes the best barbecue, and there's not even a second place. Danny and Pat Haywood were at that show at JD's, and he came over and he pointed out, and he said JD was standing right there, and he goes, we were sitting right over there, and so it was really cool. Yeah.
No, but you're absolutely right. The staff there is just incredible. Rob and Brad.
Yes.
Greg was even there a few shows, which was awesome. He got to go on stage a little bit and talk about because he knew the Colonel, and the Colonel gave him some career advice and all that when he was in Nashville. So that was really cool to have him there. And I want to say Tupelo Tom was extremely missed.
Oh,
he was.
And I told you this the other day because me and Cody decided to split the difference. And I got so tired.
It took two to replace me, Jeff. Took two people.
Exactly. So feel good about that. It took two ETAs to replace one Tom Brown. So let's just start there. I got so tired of changing clothes.
Yeah,
I feel like I never thought that never came into account for me. Never.
Now you know why my Jeep looks like Lansky's on wheels.
Yeah.
And I'd be going, where's Alex? We're ready to start. Where's Alex? He'd come running out, zipping up his pants, throwing a coat on. By the way,
you never look for me, though,
Alex,
do you? I'm standing right there ready to rock, baby.
The people can't see it, but where I record my podcast is in my man cave. And to my left is an autograph of every main actor from the movie Longest Yard. And there's that great scene when Billy Bob says, it always took two of you to handle one of me. But yeah, so it would be, Tom, you were missed. You're my buddy backstage.
Yeah, we get to
talk about life and solve the world's problems. I was just kind of back there, but it was fun for me too, because I got to really spend time with a lot of the performers that I don't see as much that come in for the show. Well, we were all kind of back there together.
Yeah.
So hanging out with Riley and Dee and Victor and Cody and Alex and I mean, all the guys that were at the show. Max Lee was there, and
Cullifer.
Oh, Cully, it was great hanging out with Cully. Yep, and
that's the thing I think that people might not realize is that we are fans too.
Yep,
and I can remember in Alabama at the Alabama Festival, and Brandon had not been in a jumpsuit in a long. Brandon Bennett had not been in a jumpsuit on stage in a long time. And he said, I'm going to do it this show. And he came walking out on stage, and I was in the dressing room kind of working on stuff and like notes and things. And Alex, you came in and said, you've got to come out here. You've got to come out here. And there were people gathered. There were people gathered around the monitors because Alex runs all the cameras and takes, whichever one is up on the big screen. And we were looking at Brandon on stage and then looking down at the monitors. And it was just, we were like, oh, Brandon. Oh my God, you look incredible. Or when Cody Ray walks out on stage, everybody's like, look at that. Everybody's just so, we're fans too, Yeah. It was in South Carolina. Jeff and I are backstage and we couldn't see what was going on stage, but we kept hearing the audience just roaring. And we got up and trust us, for Jeff and I to get up and walk anywhere back there, it's dark. We could trip on anything and break a hip. Austin Irby was bringing the house down out there.
Oh, Austin was amazing.
I turned to Jeff and I go, you know what? Austin Irby can just rock. He just was bringing them down.
He's fantastic.
Yeah, and you had so many great singers at the festival. And of course, then you got, Eddie Stevens on the sound.
Yep.
He's so amazing.
So good. The Infinity Band.
Infinity Band. Good night.
Fantastic.
Can they get any better? My goodness. And they had a new singer. And of course,
Hannah.
Hannah. And Hannah, I mean, she can sing, man. And,
she really can.
That was a great surprise. Finley there, of course. Finley's such an amazing talent. Finley was there, yeah.
No, Finley wasn't in Myrtle Beach.
No, that's right. He wasn't in Myrtle. I can't wait to see Finley again. But
oh yeah.
But and then of course Keith on the production.
Keith's lighting is great, and the What's amazing for Keith is, did you notice that he didn't have the truck in the trailer? He just was able to pull right up in his car.
Yeah.
They have amazing, in-house lighting there. So it was easy for Keith.
Was that what that was? Was that a car? I thought it was a Hot Wheels toy.
Well, you know what? I thought so. I was looking for the wind-up.
Yeah, did you try to get into that thing?
No.
He
didn't invite me in the car. What did you do to get an invite to the car?
Well, we went to the cigar bar.
Oh, okay.
And Keith, I love you, but don't get in the car and ride with Keith. It's the scariest thing on the planet, especially with those eyes. Of course, I will admit, I make fun of everybody that I ride with because I'm the worst passenger in the history of mankind. Mm-hmm. But I'm telling you, Keith, when I walked up to the car, I just looked at him and go, you want me to get into that? And his 2 dogs were there, and his dogs jumped right up in my lap, but he goes, well, you got to go in head first and then pull your legs in. It was like literally a gymnastics move to get into that thing. And but anyway, it was just a great staff, great theater, great festival. And I'm already, it's one of my highlights of the year.
I'm glad, man. I got to say, one highlight for me of hosting the festival when I did was getting to introduce Delight on stage, because all I had to say was our next entertainer from Brazil.
Yes,
that's right.
And I thought the ceiling was going to rip off the building.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was insane. That was really cool.
It was great.
There's a wonderful part of being a host is when you're it's kind of like being in a Neil Simon play. If you just memorize the words, you know what you're about to say is going to get a huge reaction. And as much as you love the reaction, you love inside you're like, oh, they're going to go crazy in just a minute because I'm going to say Brazil, and they just go crazy.
Yeah, and I'm just glad that D has been following all my workout tips. He's really looked healthy.
He looks great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Just want to say thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. From all the fans out there, thank you, Jeff.
Somebody said, are you following the Jeff Lewis workout videos? And they said, how do you do that? And they go, well, first of all, there are no videos. There's not even an audio book. It's kind of a pamphlet. Well, it's actually a printed out sheet of paper, one side only. Well, actually, there is no piece of paper. There is no Jeff Lewis.
It doesn't involve a lot of movement or really dietary restrictions or anything.
Have you taken?
Shut her down whenever you want to.
Shut her down, boys. She's pumping mud.
Yeah. Finally, I got it on here.
That's a landman, term.
Yeah. That was me and Dean Hall wrote that
there
song.
You go.
Shut her down, boys. She's pumping mud.
So Myrtle Beach. I'm sorry I missed it. I watched it. Thank you. So you know what? You don't know you miss it. Kind of like the old song, you don't miss your water till your well runs dry. You don't miss it until you're not there. And man, sitting at home watching you guys, I was like, oh man, I want to be there.
Oh,
so thank you.
We missed you.
And a real important shout out to Cody Delnath and Alex. And, Cody's got festivals throughout the year. Go to etafestivals.com. And, I've got Helen. Alex has Myrtle Beach with Cody. Tom's got Nashville. And to all the people listening and all the people involved in the events, we're not going to be buying Cadillacs and mansions, but we try to make enough to buy dinner every now and then. But it's the value you get from the camaraderie on stage, backstage, front of stage, and with our Elvis audience, our family, our fellow fans, and it is priceless, and it's something I just can't imagine. I couldn't imagine it existing years ago when I got into this, and never thought I'd still be in it. But it's just an honor and privilege, and just one of the coolest things in my life to be a part of.
Same for me, Jeff. Having retired from a career in broadcasting that was not really like going to work, but it was.
Congratulations on that.
It wasn't like going to work because it was fun, but I still had a boss, But you finally reach the age you're like, I'm kind of tired asking for it. Like, can I be off next? Can I be off on Tuesday? Like, I'm tired of asking for permission for that. So you're lucky if you're able to not have to do that anymore. But that's the thing that I still love when I do these festivals. I mean, I was a theater major. I knew I wasn't going to be an actor, but I wanted to be in broadcasting, in television and radio. I always say I wanted to be Johnny Carson. And I've gotten to do that in the Elvis world, kind of be that, have that career. And doing these festivals is it's just so much fun to go out and do my little 2 minutes, 3 minutes one verse of a song that has 3, but I can only do 1 because that's all I can remember. And sing with the band and just have fun with everybody. And put guitar. Alex, did you put guitars on, take guitars off, put on and off capes? Did you have scarves? Did you organize those and have those ready to go? Did you always keep a smile on your face when you're putting a scarf on? Jeff, I started seeing pictures a number of years ago, and I was so focused on putting out scarves over necks that I was so focused, it looked like I was really mad in the photos. And there would be like beautiful Diogo reaching over and handing a wonderful woman a scarf. And then there was me behind him going, get over it, it's just these scarves are so... And now I just go out there plastered with a smile because it's fun, but I was so focused. Alex, always keep a smile on your face when you're doing scarves.
I learned from the best.
There you go.
I learned from the best.
Alex, weren't you thought you were done with the scarves?
Yeah. So Vic had like 100 scarves. So and he had like 2 songs he wanted to do scarves on.
He did the David Lee bit.
Yeah. So gave him the scarves. I thought I could finally use the facilities, so to speak, very quickly. And I got done washing my hands and came back out. And Michelle is off stage, one of the backup singers for Infinity.
Phenomenal singer.
Amazing. So much soul in that voice. I love it. But she comes off stage and she's like, he needs a scarf. And I'm like, what? So I had to go on stage and it's just literally Vic and some lady out there just making conversation until Alex Mitchell shows up with a scarf. And my thought is, how long?
Yeah.
How long has this been happening that they've been looking for a scarf?
Oh, it was great. It was so funny. See Alex sprinting toward there, and it's dark. Like you said, you can run into anything. And, Tom, I want to brag on Michelle. She was such a phenomenal singer down in Muscle Shoals, did a lot of recording. I did a lot of recording in Nashville. And Tom, you gave me the best compliment about her, or about me regarding her, that she's the female Lou. And if you've ever heard her sing, the depth of that compliment is massive because she's phenomenal.
Well, maybe
she's amazing.
Maybe the two of you can do a little something at the after party, one of the after parties that could be featured at the Nashville Elvis Festival, which is the next upcoming Elvis Festival, March 19th through the 22nd at the Factory at Franklin. It is our 10th anniversary, Brian Mays and myself, our 10th anniversary festival, and we've got a lot of big shows lined up. You can go to NashvilleElvisFestival.com to find out info about it. I don't want to spend a lot of time because, like I said, you can go online and look, but we've got the competition. We've got a pretty good record. Emilio Santoro won a couple of years ago, became an ultimate champion. This year, Alex will be among those competing to represent Nashville at the Nashville Elvis Festival. We have not announced judges yet, but I think everyone's going to be very happy and pleased with who we've got judging. Special guests, returning Jerry Schilling will be there, and Sandy Wink Martindale's widow, Sandy Martindale, will be there. They were guests in the first year of the Nashville Elvis Festival. And there's a special event with Jerry and Sandy to kick off on Thursday afternoon. It's a separate ticket from the regular festival package, but with that ticket, you get to see an interview with them in a small little area, very intimate, and ask questions. I'll be doing a Q&A with the fans for Jerry and Sandy, and then you get an autographed book. You get one of their books autographed from them, and you get a photo with them after the interview. So you have that. A lot of great shows, a lot of great ETAs are going to be there. Like I said, we're calling it 10 for 10. We have 10 ultimates, and 2 of the gentlemen, Diogo and Riley, will also be joining that 10 as former Nashville Elvis Festival champions. So a lot of cool things planned. We've got love songs. We've got a tribute to 56, tribute to the Jungle Room, tribute to That's the Way It Is, Elvis on Tour. Of course, gospel with Lou on Sunday morning with some new songs. There's like a new...
Yeah.
Jeff kind of worked on that, and it's going to be great. Pat Dunn going to be there. Jay Dupuis going to be there. I'm going to leave somebody out. I didn't write it down. Bill Cherry going to be there. Cody Ray Slaughter. Emilio Cote. Ben Thompson, woo-woo, is going to be there. And I know I'm leaving. Jimmy Holmes. Jimmy Holmes is going to be there. So if I've left you out, it's only because I didn't get my nap this afternoon. Because I wanted to do this instead.
Well, I'm excited. And Tom, thank you so much for allowing me to put together that show. I get to sing at the show, and gospel music's always been one of my favorite. And I got to sing with so many of the guys over the years growing up, Florida boys, different guys. big Henson's fan, Cathedral. So to be able to sing the gospel music of Elvis and host that show and write it is an honor. I appreciate it. You know, a lot of people, we've talked about this. It's going to be great to see Sandy again. We were probably the last people to interview Wink.
Yeah. Yep. I have a feeling. I think you might be absolutely correct.
And now Howard Stern has a Wink character that they do all the time.
He used to. He did announcing for Howard, so that's pretty cool. My story of Wink, like I think I said after he passed, is I've still got his script for the game show we did in Nashville. One of the first 2 years, because I think Sandy and Wink came a couple of years. I wrote this game show with questions and stuff, and he went through with a Sharpie and did his little changes and tweaks and things to it, and some things you don't throw away. And I thought, a game show with notes from Wink Martindale. I have the same thing from Alex Trebek when I worked with Trebek on a couple of TCM cruises. I have Alex notes on the script, and I've got Wink's. So just game show legends, and they were a part of the Nashville Elvis Festival. And we invite you to be a part of the 10th anniversary of the Nashville Elvis Festival and join us March 19th through the 22nd. This preceding a message brought to you by Brian Mays and Tom Brown, co-producers of the Nashville Elvis Festival. Void where prohibited.
We hope to interview Brian soon, and it's so cool to know Jerry Schilling. We got to interview Jerry Schilling, and Sandy got involved in the interview with Wink. Yeah. And I'll tell my friends this story because to me it's just so cool. Is every time I'd walk in the room, every single time Wink would go, there's Jeff, he had that great voice. There's Jeff Lewis, the man that can sing the alphabet, And I think, my goodness, he knows my name, know. So it's going to be great. I can't wait to be in Nashville. I lived there for 25 years. I can't wait to see I'm going to meet some friends there the night before everything gets rolling. Can't wait to see them and just have a fantastic time seeing everybody again. It feels like I know it wasn't that long ago, but it already feels like it's been forever since I've seen everybody. So I look forward to seeing you guys.
That's what happens. There. We go through little withdrawals when there's after birthday, and then Myrtle Beach is kind of a slow period with festivals, and then we're back, and then we're gone a little bit, and then we're back again. And the summer, of course, heats up. And as much as you think there's a lot going on this summer in 26, imagine what's going to be happening in 27 for the 50th anniversary of Elvis's passing in 1977. So I'm excited about the future. We haven't even begun to see the impact that Epic is going to make on the Elvis world. I think we need to. I'm going to go ahead and look this up right now. You guys talk amongst yours. I want to see how many people are following Elvis on Spotify, because I guarantee you, I watched that number go up by the millions when the Austin Butler movie came out, and right now it says 23 million, but I know I've seen a different number than that. So we'll keep monitoring that, but that number's going to go up. 23 sounds low. I think it was in the 40s the last time I saw it.
I just got a text. I got a little text group from people that are involved in the front of house, and it just says "Epic equals awesome." So everybody's loving it, and it was it's just everybody that has seen it is just blown away. And the word I keep seeing, emotional.
Yeah. Now we've been talking about Epic. We talked about Myrtle. We talked about Nashville. We talked about how I am retired and now I'm catching up on work around the house and doing what I tell you, Jeff, it's unbelievable. You get up and you don't have plans. You don't have anything you have to do. It's just so great. But the other thing Jeff has been doing to fill his time is, Jeff, a lot of people that know you're a singer, songwriter, Grammy nominated. I'm sorry, I'm Emmy nominated. You're Grammy nominated.
Yeah, that's right. You're Emmy, I'm Grammy.
Sorry. We are the E and the G of GOAT. That's right.
And Alex is yummy. For all the ladies.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Lewis. May I have another, sir?
But you are an author, a writer of things.
Yes, sir.
Of things of which to hold in your hand and read.
Yeah, I wrote a novel several years ago, and it's about a serial killer in the Old West, but really it's more about the guy chasing him. And it's kind of like if Louis L'Amour and Stephen King had a kid, just not quite as good. But I was happy with it. But formats of novels have changed. And I just wanted to re-edit it, not rewrite it, but just re-edit it. I wanted a new cover for it. And I had lost the digital version. So with Chat GPT, I was able to scan it and put it back into a document where I could edit it and just kind of tighten it up. And so it's out now on Amazon. There's the Kindle version. It's called Serial West, SERIAL, as in serial killer. Serial West. And it happens in a town called Two Guns, Arizona, which is actually a real town, or ghost town now. And so I was able to release that.
There they are. Sorry. Everybody at the house, everybody really excited about Jeff's new book. That's
right. They can't wait to read it.
I knew this was going to happen at some point. I talked about it with Alex ahead of time. That would be Millie and Maxine. Millie Kirkham-Brown and Maxine Brown, and Stella Brando, and my new puppy, Wynette, named after Miss Tammy Wynette. Obviously, horseplay is going on, so I might have to. So you talk about the Wild West, and I'm going to take care of the wild kids.
Okay, and so I'm real excited about it. You read about Jake Hargis and the tragedy he went through and what happens from there. And I'm working on the sequel now as well. I'm about 8 chapters away from being done with that.
Wow.
One of the exciting things, it's on Amazon, it's Kindle and a paperback, and my very close friend, an incredible actor. I'm not allowed to talk about things that are coming up, but it's very exciting. His name is Jeremy Childs. And if you ever watched the show Preacher on AMC, he was in that, played a major character in that. He was in the show Nashville. Was it the $1 Million Quartet that was on TV for a little while? That
on CMT with Drake Milligan.
Drake Milligan, yep. That's right. And I found some footage actually of Drake singing with us at the Hard Rock at the old after parties. But he was Elvis's girlfriend's dad in that. He was in Country Strong. Been in a bunch of great films. He just finished, and we're just waiting for it to be finalized by Amazon, the audiobook version of Serial West.
Oh, that's great.
And it is it was so weird, because he sends me the book through the program there, and I have to approve everything. And it was so weird to have earphones on and hear the story that's been in my head for so long read. And the way Jeremy's such a great actor, a real actor knows how to read it.
Right.
So that'll be out real soon as well. So I hope y'all pick that up, and I'll be bringing copies to events. So hopefully you'll like it and enjoy it. And the sequel's called Two Guns, and it's been fun to bring back so many of the characters that I created, but that I became friends with. And Serial West is, like I said, about serial killer in the Old West, but Two Guns I'm having a lot of fun with because I'm bringing real historical people back. Wyatt Earp is in it. There's another one that you'll find out about when you read it. I don't want to give away. But one of the fun parts I'm having with it, and Tom will love this, Jake Hargis, the hero of the book, and a couple other people that are in the book are at a saloon. And a guy walks up, Wyatt's there with him, Wyatt Earp. And a guy walks up, and the bartender, Steve Lambeth, who's a friend of ours, I've named him the bartender after him. And he looks up.
Y'all want some whiskey?
Ordered. Yeah, that's right. Alex,
do it.
Alex, how would he say y'all want a drink? Come on, we got to hear Steve say.
Y'all want a drink or not?
That's perfect. And he looks up, and Tom, you're going to love this. They said, what's your name, mister? And he said, Jacob McCandles. Yeah. And these bartenders, well, I heard you were dead. He says, not hardly. So that's
Mr. McCandles,
Big
I heard
Jake
you
reference.
were dead. Not hardly.
That's right. But anyway, so that's the book. I'm very excited about it, and hopefully Two Guns will be out before the year's up. I can get it finished.
And I got to tell you, having been the person that drives to all these festivals, man, you want a good audio book. I love them. I have one saved because the Waco trip is 10 hours each way. And man, it's a great way to pass the time when you're driving on the road. I mean, so I look forward to your audio book. I can't wait to get into that.
Good. And I want to say something live here. Nothing tragic. Just want to send out we're not going out live, but just some prayers for Charlie Watson. Let's just say some prayers for and his wife Peggy and their family. So they're going through a rough time right now, and they're great people.
We just as we record this, we just released the contestant video of me doing the draw for the singing order of the ETA contestants.
Great,
Thank you. And as I do every year, my tradition is I put everyone's name on a little sheet of paper and I cut it up into little slips. And, you draw them from a hat. And the hat I draw them from, of course, is the Silver Moon cap with my name on it. And
are you doing your Corky impression right now from Waiting for Guffman, by the way? Is that your Corky impression? Put a little snaps, little pictures,
little snapshots.
paper.
Not big paper, small paper.
Little
just
paper.
enough for the name and maybe perhaps a place of residence. But it's in my Silver Moon baseball cap. And in that video, I don't know if I can't. At some point, somebody's going to tell Eddie Stevens that I dropped a little time bomb in there for Eddie Stevens because I'm wearing them because my favorite baseball team's the Mets. And Eddie and Angel, his partner, they're not exactly fans of the New York Mets. Let me put it that way. So I talked about wearing it in his honor
Like Eddie's birthday was today, I think, or today or yesterday. Yeah, mine was last week.
Eddie.
Yeah, mine was last week, and his
just had Keith's birthday.
Yes,
yeah, Keith's birthday. That's right. All of us came around about the same time.
Yeah, I got here in January, but I was way ahead of you. I saved a spot for you. And the other thing, Jeff, you're working on is your music. And if you're a Buck Owens fan out there, you're might going to want to listen to this because I'm excited about this too.
Well, every time it's Godfather 3, every time I think about it, they pull me back in. And the guitar player that I worked with, he's a phenomenal player. Back in the original Jeff Lewis and Delta Band days, we opened up for Buck Owens and Dwight and Garth and John Anderson, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, list goes on and had a fun career. Well, we kind of reunited. He's back here in Oklahoma like I am. And as we saw at the Greg Rose Theater, and by the way, what a great guy he is. But a lot of the theaters we go to now, you're seeing the acts coming through are tribute acts, not necessarily just Elvis tribute acts, but like where they pay tribute to certain styles of music. I noticed there was a Fleetwood Mac band called Rumors. I've got a Parrot Head Paradise act that kind of pays tribute to Buffett and all that stuff. I saw one of those out there. And that seems to be what a lot of the casinos, they kind of want that tribute style of music. So one thing that surprises me when I had my band back in the late 80s, that music seems to be coming back. Like Dwight's on tour with ZZ Top right now, And so we want to kind of pay tribute to that Bakersfield sound, Merle Haggard, Buck Owens, Dwight, and music that was inspired by the Bakersfield sound, the Mavericks, different things like that. And I told Jeff, I go, well, how about we call it Buckersfield in honor of Buck Owens? And we've got our first gig coming up, little honky tonk there. It's called the Squeeze In Tahlequah. And the reason we're doing it, just kind of get the band together and we're going to get film footage to start pushing other events. And I'll tell you a quick story. This kind of just crazy. A guy moved next door to me, him and his wife, and they're great people. And I knew he was a musician, but I didn't pay much attention to it, and I'm on the road. I'm always leaving with my guitar in my hand, throwing in my car and everything. Come to find out, he's an Oklahoma, Texas legend, songwriter from the 70s and 80s. And the way I found out about this was Jeff Gray, who is my guitar player with Buckersfield, said, his name's T.Z. Wright. Said, you know T.Z. Wright? And I said, well, yeah, he's my neighbor. And he wrote a song called Drugstore Cowboy, and we're in the studio now recording an album. And I sang that song back in the 80s. So it was just this odd thing that happened with him moving in and being my neighbor now. So we've been talking about and we all knew some of the same pickers and everything. But anyway, so I look forward to getting that out to everybody, and hopefully we'll be playing at a casino or theater near you sometime soon.
I can't wait. I love that music, and you've played me a couple of little things I love your Buck Owens stories because I grew up watching Saturday at 6:00 watching Hee Haw and loving Buck Owens music. Went to the Crystal Palace to see him in the 90s with one of my uncles who had the same kind of cancer that Buck had. And a buddy of mine, Ed Richardson, called ahead and they got word to Buck. And in the middle of Buck's concert at the Crystal Palace, he said, there's a Roy Brown in the audience, and I'd like to see you after the show. And my uncle was just flummoxed. He couldn't believe it. And he got to go backstage and got a guitar pick and got an autographed picture. And because my Uncle Roy was a guitar player, singer guy like you, just a honky-tonk guy.
Yeah.
And so to meet Buck was kind of a cool thing. And Buck, one of the smartest businessmen that's ever been an entertainer. You know, there's
he mixed his records high end because they were only playing country music on AM radio, but he wanted to sound like an FM record. And you know, there's a lot of Buck stories I can't tell, but if you buy me a drink, I'll tell you one day. But you know, a couple of the just quick ones were, you know, he used to get death threats because he had that rock and roll style in country music back in the day, and he and that didn't go over well a lot of times with country fans in those days. But and when he talked about Don Rich, their mix and blend of harmonies is just one of those. It's like a Lennon-McCartney writing team. Those harmonies together were incredible. But I loved. He told me a story, and then Harlan Howard told me the story at a bar one day about Tiger by the Tail, and it was great to hear their two versions of the same story, because Buck's version basically was they were driving to a next gig in Texas, and Harlan, I think it was with Jan Howard at the time, but anyway, and Harlan was in the back seat taking a nap, and they stopped at an Exxon. You remember, it was, the tiger tail,
tiger in
logo,
your tank,
whatever it was. Yeah, tiger in your tank. And Buck said, Harlan, I got a great song idea. It's Tiger by the Tail. We're talking about just some wild and crazy fun woman, and we can write it. Man, it'll be a big hit. And Harlan goes to sleep in the back seat and writes the song. Well, Harlan tells the story. Buck had this stupid idea about a gas station. So that was the two. And so a couple months later, Harlan said his publisher called him and said, well, congratulations, you got another #1 record. He goes, what? He goes, Tiger by the Tail. And he goes, you mean he recorded that piece of, like that? So it's just funny hearing the two versions of the
Tell
story.
the story. My favorite, I always get you to tell us about Buck hiding.
Oh, yeah. So we were in, I don't remember, McCook, Nebraska. We were somewhere in the promoter had screwed up and put us in this junky hotel. And I kept getting knocks on my door all night because Dwight's bus was out there. And so I guess all these girls.
It's like the kind of motel where the doors open into the parking lot. Right. Yeah.
Into the parking lot. And about 3 a.m, I get this knock on the door. And I look out. I'm thinking, gosh dang it, these girls are relentless. Went back, shut the door, laid back down. Got another knock on the door, and there's a bottle of Jack Daniels sitting there. And I'm looking around, and behind a car in front of my door, I see a cowboy hat going up and down, somebody laughing. And it's Buck. And I said, Buck, I can see you. And he goes, no, you can't. I can. And then he proceeded to tell me some of the stories I can't tell. But no, he was fantastic. Treated us like we weren't the opening band, like we were actually a peer. Harlan was like that too. So it was a fun time.
And from
in my
what
life.
I read, did an agreement with Capitol Records in the 60s because he foresaw owning his own music and masters, that Capitol paid for the recordings. He recorded them, they released them, but after 30 years, he would take ownership of the master tapes and own them lock, stock, and barrel. So there was some time in the mid-90s when CDs started, really taking off, really being big. That's about the time Buck started taking ownership of all his music. And one by one, all those albums came out, and Buck was getting everything for them.
That's
I remember
great.
my best friend, Mike Owens, who's sadly passed, we would drive. He introduced me to Buck's music. And I was huge into Dwight Yoakam. I went, oh, that's where that sound came from, right? Because he's just, and we would drive from Norman, Oklahoma to Nashville because the record store down on Main Street, the Brothers, Lawrence Brothers, I think it was.
Brothers, yeah.
That's the only place you could find Buck records. So we would drive to Nashville, go to Lawrence Brothers, go to Brown's Diner and eat a burger, stay at a cheap hotel, and drive back.
It's
the next
where
day.
Nudi's Bar is now. Yeah. Lawrence Records. Yeah.
And so that we would do that. I was such a Buck fan, and but he was definitely one of a kind. And I shouldn't tell the story, but it's so funny. I'm going to. He had the bar there in Bakersfield, which sadly
Crystal
I think
Palace
is closed now. Crystal Palace, and it was his birthday. So Alan Jackson called in, Dwight called in. Well, the Dixie Chicks called in, and Buck said, "Is that fat one there with you? Put her on the phone." And I apologize, Natalie, you're not fat at all, but I just thought that was a funny story.
Well, The Adventures of Jeff Lewis. I can't wait for that book. That's the book I want to read.
Yeah.
And finally, as we wrap this up, we have one of our cast of zany characters who's been kind of under the weather and fighting it a little bit and is on the mend, Jody McDowell. Jody McDowell, an incredible keyboard player, an officer of the law, just an amazing man, a member of Ronnie McDowell's band when he's not, arresting people. He kind of fell into some bad health issues, and he's doing okay now.
He's been by my side at every after party I think I've ever had. We kind of created the after party. The guy he's the best musician I've ever played with. Let me just be clear on that. He can play anything. Him and I do the All in the Family intro infamously at all the festivals when we're together. And his kind of famous thing, when iPhone came out with the FaceTime feature, the first ad was during the World Series. I don't remember how many years ago. And I'm watching the World Series. I'm kind of half asleep. And all of a sudden I hear, "Well, y'all, I done did it again." And it was Jody. I jumped up. I go, "That sounds like Jody." And he was on the roof, stuck on the roof, and his ladder had fallen. And they featured that in the commercial. And of course, Dean Z does a great impression of Jody. I remember one time in Helen when, or it might have been Tupelo, I had him play "Are You Lonesome Tonight?" and I had Dean do it as Jody. Oh my God, it was so funny. But Jody, he was not feeling real well. They were doing a sound check. I don't remember where. And he went to the doctor. Well, he couldn't find out he was having a heart blockage or whatever it is, heart attack. But he wasn't getting any better. And they did the surgery and everything. And then somebody on Facebook mentioned that it sounds like some disease that a tick causes, not Lyme disease, but something else. The doctors go, "Well, we can test for him." And that's what it was. That's what saved his life. And so it's just a miracle that it happened.
And when I heard that, I immediately thought of this moment. There was because Jody was playing keyboards for Infinity at one of the Christmas with the King shows, and he showed me on his arms, he had gone into a swamp chasing a suspect a few weeks before that and had hundreds and hundreds of ticks on his body chasing this person. And it took him a long time to get these ticks off. I mean, and obviously can be traced back to, this was not just a normal, I had a tick. He was covered. He was covered in them.
My gosh. Well, it was really great. We were with his daughter, Michaela, who's a great singer and performer. And, with Infinity, with Radney and everybody that's so phenomenal, Daniel, Tomas, and
Chris,
just everybody in the Chris, and Chris is such a talented guy, and all the singers, Michelle, Michaela, and Hannah. Anyway, we're backstage in North Myrtle Beach Elvis Festival, and Michaela runs up to me because she knows how close I am with Jody, and has her phone on live, and the entire Portland, Tennessee fire department, ambulance, police, every first responder, which thank God for all of y'all, are bringing him home from the hospital. And there was a parade of people lining the road. That's the kind of influence he had. And we were all just crying like she is a girl, but I was crying like a little girl too. But and then she came running up to me backstage. "Uncle Jeff," she always calls me, "Uncle Jeff, you got to see this. You got to see this." And he was playing the piano.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Jody, God bless you, brother.
And what I take out of that story, as the family was there in Portland, Michaela was at the gig.
Yep,
she was at the gig.
Yep.
The show goes on.
That's right. And Jody be the first one to say that.
I thought, I wonder if she's going to be at home. And then I thought, no, she's a showman. She's an entertainer. He's an entertainer. That's what you do.
And for those of you that buy tickets, and thank God for all of you that come see us, we love talking to you. We love playing. But true performers will never let you down. We'll always be there unless we just absolutely on our hospital bed or have no voice or something like that, and incur a massive snow and ice storm. The dogs don't agree.
Except for me, if it snows, I'm not coming to the gig. Sorry.
That's right. Yeah, if there's a snow and ice storm, you're stuck.
I'm out. Well, listen, it's been great getting back together. I think we covered everything on my piece of paper. I think the dogs are telling me it may be time for something else to happen in their afternoon as I sit and hold Wynette.
By the way, we've got to keep that hay in there, Alex. Don't edit that out.
We got it.
I thought was I not muted?
No.
No. And I literally just said, unless you're trapped by snow and ice, and then you go, hey, and then you come back and go, unless you're trapped by snow and ice.
Wow.
So we were on the same
my light
page.
was flashing. I thought it was muted. Boy, I could have said, there's things I could have said to these dogs, but luckily I didn't do
That's
it.
right.
I've had Wynette in my arms because I want
she's so beautiful.
Alex to get a good look at her because she's going to start traveling with me.
We have to get there we go. There's
that's awesome.
We got a picture now.
There you
go. Look at that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
That's great. Look at those ears.
So she's 4.5 months old, 3.75 pounds, hopefully topping out at a bulky 4 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And she now runs the house. Millie and Maxine are 10, and Stella's 5, and this little baby runs the house. So
I love it.
Ruby runs our house. Well, it's great seeing you guys again, and
you too, guys.
Talking to you, and those of us when we release this, which will be before Nashville won it.
Oh yeah,
be able to do that.
Oh yeah,
good. And we probably will never go video because we know you ladies just won't be able to stand the magnetism of what is it? Reggie Jackson says, "The magnetism of me." Isn't that a great line? He hates that he says it nowadays, but anyway. But no, we let all the pretty young people do film footage. We just like to talk. So hope you enjoy it.
And Jeff, you quoting Reggie Jackson, I have to quote my favorite athlete of all time, Joe Willie Namath of the New York Jets, who had an autobiography out called, and this is kind of my philosophy of life, Jeff, and I think you probably, and Alex, you live by it too. I can't wait for tomorrow because I get better looking every day.
That's great.
Joe Willie, baby.
I just, by the way, I'm going through my dad's cards. I lost my dad last year, as we know. And we're going through all these. I got tens and thousands of cards. I'm selling some. And I found a Joe Namath rookie.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
And a Roberto Clemente rookie, and a Johnny Bench rookie, and a Pete Rose rookie. So it's been a lot of fun.
You may have just bought you and your mom a new house.
I think so.
Big Lew's going to cash in here soon.
Yeah.
That's right.
Whatever happened to Big Lew? Oh, he's living in Beverly Hills now.
Well, guys, I sure loved it. We'll see y'all in a couple of weeks, and I can't wait.
All right, and how do we close, Jeff? We close with this. I'm Tupelo Tom.
And I'm Big Lew.
And we're done talking.
See ya.
Now the dog stopped barking. Great. Thanks very much.
Right on time.
Yeah, I heard Ruby in there barking. Mom's getting...
I swear to God, I hit the thing and it was...